Ozempic, Mounjaro, weight loss injections are here, and it looks like they are here to stay. Only 5% of weight loss injections are prescribed by the NHS. You can get it privately. There is also a very worrying amount being sold on the black market for people who are under BMIs who don't need it. And in this video, I'm going to go through 7 things that I would be doing before we even think about going down this road. And this is the same for bariatric patients and non-bariatric patients. I've done a lot of work with lots of wonderful patients in the bariatric industry, but also I would say people who are just thinking about going down this road for their own weight loss. These are 7 things to consider. Now, the reason these 7 things are so important to consider is because, truth be told, unless you are buying into having these injections for the rest of your life, you will need to do these 7 things anyway. So my point being is that any weight loss journey should be looking to create habits to last the rest of our life. If we take these injections to bypass building these habits because they take away hunger, they take away food noise, that's okay for a period of time, but what is the end plan here? So in my opinion, you're better off trying these 7 things for a good period of time, 2 to 3 months. Let's get away from this weight loss day-to-day, week-to-week thing that people fall into. There'll be a lot of people who weigh weekly. We know that weight loss does not go down every single week, and perhaps on week 3 where it stays the same, they sack off the habits because when they're not buying into that long-term plan. Now, whether you are doing a weight loss injection or indeed any weight loss program, you have to realize that there will be times when weight loss doesn't occur because our body isn't just body fat. When you weigh yourself, it doesn't tell you your body fat levels. It tells you your water weight, your muscle density, and all these other factors. When it comes to weight, fat loss is the goal. And if we are getting drawn to the scales, it doesn't matter if you do Ozempic, Mounjaro, any weight loss program, you have to realize that that will be apparent nevertheless. I am a former binge eater. When I say former, I think binge eating is always part of you. I absolutely love sitting down and eating lots of food, particularly in front of the TV. I built this habit in my teenage years when I used to love on a Friday night, nothing more than sitting there eating loads of food, watching the wrestling. As I got older, I used to drink at weekends, and that would compound the binging habit, particularly on the hangover days. But now it's a double bubble because I'm getting the calories in from the drinking, probably have some sort of kebab or McDonald's on the way home, and I would binge eat on the Sunday. So do not think this is just a personal trainer nutritionist coming on here telling me what to do without any understanding. I've been there, I've done it, to the point where actually when I was PTing for a period of time, I used to stop in petrol stations and overeat those snack bags, which, let's face it, they're not snack bags. You could eat all of those Maltesers and white chocolate buttons in one session, no problem. I used to do that, and I was ashamed to go to my wife and tell her to do that. That's why I hid in cars and did it. So I am very much somebody who has worked at these 7 things and made it so it doesn't need to be a case of putting an injection inside my body. You hear quite a lot of people say, oh, but they work. I want to make it clear, every single diet works. Doesn't make them a good idea. The cabbage diet, the Cambridge diet, they work, you lose weight, but there's no long-term plan, there's no sustainability to it. What happens when you come off those diets? Usually aggressive gains occur. It tends to be the same thing with these injections unless you do these 7 things. My worry is I spoke to somebody yesterday, and the reason I'm doing this video today is they said, you just take injections and it works, you haven't got to think about it. That is a massive concern because either you are committing to these monthly payments for life for these injections, or you actually don't understand how the body works. And neither ends well when it comes to looking to maintain your weight over the course of time. So again, just like a Cambridge diet, just like a Slim World diet, or whatever you want to call it, if they didn't work for you before, there's probably a less view towards long-term sustainability. And unless you're willing to pay for these injections for the rest of your life, unfortunately, it seems the evidence suggests that there can be excessive gain even after these injections. Number 1, and don't roll your eyes, you need to commit to 2 to 3 months to a diet program. I'll go through what the habits should be made up of during the 2 to 3 months. But this whole week-to-week thing, I speak to people who have said to me, I've tracked my calories, I'm only eating 1,200 calories a day for 3 weeks. I look at the calories, they did it for 10 days, they stopped doing it, and they think that 1,200 calories doesn't work. It's nothing to do with 1,200 calories. You shouldn't even be on 1,200 calories in my opinion. But the point being is, it wasn't the fact that 1,200 calories didn't work for 3 weeks. You only did it for half the time. And that's the reason why weight loss didn't occur. So 2 to 3 months is a nice amount of time for you to learn, for you to build resilience towards the fact that weight isn't going to go down every single week. I'm coming up to week 12 of my weight loss program. I've lost 17 pounds in 12 weeks, but for 5 weeks it stayed the same weight. I backed the process, I trust the process, I carried on going, and funnily enough, I lost way more. I lost about £1 a week in the first few weeks, stayed the same. So I was actually losing less than £1 a week for a consistent amount of time. This was during the Christmas time. But then it's fallen off me since. I'm not sure what that is. I don't think there's some sort of compounding effect. I think it's just the way the body works. It works with averages over time rather than the specifics of day to day, week to week. I have never, with any bariatric patient or anyone who I've worked with in the non-bariatric world, Ask them to commit to 2 to 3 months to diet, and weight loss has not occurred based on this. Now, of course, you have to stick to it, and the idea is you build these habits to the point where they last long term because they actually make you feel more energized, and balance is a key. Obviously, you might experience a bit of weight gain when balance is reintroduced again, but for 12 weeks, we want to look into sticking to this without kind of this whole day-to-day, week-to-week weigh-in. Do what you like when it comes to weigh-ins, but commit to this for 12 weeks before you assess going on to an injection for the rest of your life. To me, it makes sense as a time exchange to do that homework. Number 2, eat between 100 and 150 grams of protein per day. It's actually linked to your body weight, but as a start point, it's a good aim to get between 100 and 150 grams per day. Many people are not eating enough protein. They have cereals in the morning or indeed don't have breakfast, which again can work to a certain extent, but it can make people a lot hungrier later on in the day. When are people more vulnerable to over-consuming food? It tends to be later at night. It tends to be later on in the day. First thing in the morning, people don't tend to eat protein. People aren't cooking breakfasts. They're not having eggs and things in the morning. They might have a shake tops. But in general, protein is low in the morning. They might have a sandwich with some ham in it or something like a meal deal, whatever it may be. And then in the evening, and there's the mid-afternoon slump where they'll have some snacks, some chocolate or whatever. Even then they'll probably have some protein in their dinner. They're ending the day on 30, 40 grams of protein. In 2017, I did a challenge where I ate 10,000 calories and burnt 10,000 calories in the same day. I didn't even hit my protein target for the day because I had to snack more. I had to sort of junk it up to hit 10,000 calories. Now, I'm not saying you're doing that, but when I speak to people, most of the time their protein is very low. Protein is very filling, it's very metabolic, and it is something that will aid a diet over the course of time. And you could argue when having these weight loss injections, protein plummets, which means you're going to lose a lot of muscle mass, which means you're going to become weaker. Now, yes, losing body fat, if you are an obese person, is a much healthier thing to do than worrying about muscle mass, but we can do both at the same times if the right habits are in place. Number 3, look at your sleep routine. Many people say to me, I can't sleep very well, and as if that's the end of it, right? Now, I understand there are conditions out there, but a lot of people aren't doing the right things when it comes to their sleep. What's your evening routine looking like? What's your environment when you sleep? What's your mattress like? What are your curtains like? Do you have blackout blinds? Are you looking at screens before bed? What's your caffeine like? It could be present 6 hours later. There's a lot of things people can do to help their sleep and routine, but if you're not getting 7 to 9 hours sleep, let me tell you now, even with Ozempic and Mounjaro, over the course of time, that window being open for longer is going to be problematic towards your weight loss. If you can create predictability towards your sleep patterns, it is extremely likely you'll start to get predictability in your hunger patterns. The two are very much linked. A poor night's sleep will lead to leptin and ghrelin, the hunger hormone and the satiety hormone, being very much out of sync. Whereas if we are consistent with our sleep patterns, you will find it is a lot easier to lose weight. Number 4, an open mind to changing your relationship with alcohol. I'm not saying you've got to give it up to its entirety. I'm not saying it's something that has to be gone forever. But I would say the more you give up alcohol, the more you limit alcohol consistently over the course of time. And let's face it, with Ozempic and Mounjaro, there's a very good chance you're going to have to do that anyway. Coming off that for a period of time is going to offer tremendous benefits. It offers more predictability to our habits. We're less rash when we don't drink alcohol. Obviously, things like our sleep quality, which I mentioned earlier on, is going to be better. There's less unnecessary calories. And what I always say about alcohol is, as somebody who, as a binge drinker, I'm not someone who has two a day or anything like that. I tend to not drink much and then maybe every couple of weekends have a session. I've given that up for a few weeks or so now, and it has really helped my weight loss. It can always come back. Okay, once you master the art of losing weight, once you master the art of maintaining, a part of maintaining is bringing more calories in, and alcohol can be that guy. But what I would say also is that when you give up alcohol for a sustained period of time, you just actually prefer not doing it as much, okay? I've got a stag do in May. I'm really looking forward to it. I will really enjoy myself. But between now and then, I have no intention of going back to it. In fact, I'm looking to do a 6-month break. I'm coming up to 3 months. I'm going to do a video at 3 months and a video at 6 months. So hit subscribe and I'll talk about what I found of alcohol over the course of time. I don't want to sound like this monk saying that you're not allowed to drink. But I think if you are an obese individual looking to commit to injections over the course of your life, maybe it's an idea to look at other things that are going into your body, and alcohol will be affecting your weight loss, no doubt about it. Number 5, you partake in exercise throughout the week. We keep active daily with our walks. If you're already an active person, that's great. But I think there's a value in going out for walks, but also just be very mindful of the fact that we are going to be sensible of our walking. If the kids want to play with you, count that as steps. If you are going to the supermarket, great, get some steps in. Get some steps in as much as we possibly can, but also maybe committing to a 20-minute walk per day. Great for your mental health, great for your mobility, particularly if you've got a sedentary job. Walking daily. I'm not really too fussed about the calorie burn. I think the environment change, the stress release tends to aid people when it comes to losing weight. Environment change is absolutely huge. If you sit down in front of your TV, you are more vulnerable to overconsuming like me back in the day before I was a personal trainer, even during being a personal trainer. If you're going out for a walk, you don't really have that association. Now, you can't do that 24 hours a day, but you can identify a time when maybe you are vulnerable. Maybe it's that sweet tooth after dinner. So maybe go out for a walk. You probably won't have that sweet tooth. You don't tend to have a sweet tooth when you're out and about walking. So you can identify periods of time where maybe it makes sense to change the environment, and walking can be very powerful for that. I think there's tremendous benefits to exposing yourself to light early on in the day as well. Big up Andrew Huberman. But also, we should be partaking 2 to 4 times a week in exercise, an increase of heart rate, bit of strength training, maybe a bit of yoga or some sort of sporting activity. I don't really mind what you do. I think strength training has a lot of value towards weight loss, but we are, again, changing our environment. We're looking at our time, we're looking at our calendar, we are putting ourselves in situations to progress our body in different ways, to back our body in different ways. And you'll just find that, again, not even to do with weight loss, yes, you burn calories and what have you, but you just feel better. You de-stress yourself, you energize yourself. And if you're eating enough calories, which is going to lead into point 7, you feel fueled and energized while losing weight. That's a really good combination. How many people go super aggressive, try and shortcut it, go too low, lose motivation, lose their activity level, stop doing it, all or nothing, all or nothing. 2 to 3 months of sensible, measured progress over the course of time will offer tremendous benefits. And again, it means you don't have to commit to paying for something for the rest of your life. One more time, if you don't do these things when you come off it, there's a very good chance weight gain is going to occur anyway. If you want to compare it to money, if you wanted to save £10,000 in a year and you earn £3,000, you wouldn't put 3,000 in it for 4 months and go, that's a hit 10,000. It's not possible. You wouldn't be that aggressive because you can't. Weight loss we're not supposed to lose weight every single week of the year. Our body actually, scientifically speaking, biomechanically speaking, is not designed to do that. It backs back to the cavemen days. It doesn't particularly like losing weight. It will actually make it so it's difficult to lose weight. It's a bit like putting lots of beautiful 25-year-old boys and girls in a house together like they do in TV shows, give them loads of alcohol and say, do not get with each other, do not sleep with each other, if you sleep with each other. But the body's just not designed to do that, okay? There's going to be problems. It's not going to be as measured as we think. So the idea that with hunger, we're going to just be aggressive for ages and not make any mistakes and not fluctuate at all is naive at best and pretty much impossible at worst. So we want to get behind the fact we want to be sensible over the course of time. What you would do in a year is you would maybe put a bit of money, you would divide it by 12, put a bit of money in each month. And if you don't get there at the end of the year, you'll be much, much closer and you can look to progress further going forward from there. That's a much sensible approach than I'm just going to do it all at the beginning and hope for the best. Point number 6. Realise that appetite changes over the course of time. People think that this hunger is like an external thing that's got nothing to do with them. I know there's conditions like ADHD which can impact things, but really it is a case of just doing the right thing consistently for a period of time, your appetite changes. We know that, okay? When I binge eat and I eat sugary dense foods and non-fibrous food and non-protein based food, keep it coming. I'll keep eating it all day long. I won't get full, thousands and thousands of calories. But if I look to create predictability to my day through my sleep, through my meals, not trying to shortcut it and skip meals or anything like that, I'm actually eating the right controlled amount of calories per day to elicit a sensible amount of weight loss over the course of time. It's never not worked. It's never not worked. The problem is the individual tries to shortcut it and makes things where they think it's going to make it better and it's not. And that's the game, folks. We're looking to buy into a long-term approach here. Because you know what? I want to be on this earth for as long as possible. I'm sure you do too. So why are we doing these short-term things? I used to live in Dubai and my friends who partook in the holy month of Ramadan, I used to say to them, I don't understand how you do this. I couldn't do this in a million years. And if you speak to anyone who partakes in that, they will all say to a person, it gets easier after 10 days or so. Your body adapts. You don't get as hungry during the day. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that. But what I'm saying is there's evidence there to show that your body will adapt. It won't get as hungry during these times if you create predictability to these times. And looking at things like your sleep, I think there's a great idea to maybe have a window after 8 o'clock. We don't eat because I think let's get our body ready for our digestive system. Of course, life might offer different circumstances, but as a routine, which is obviously very powerful towards weight loss, that can be extremely beneficial. And with that in mind, you actually grow into the diet rather than this clinging on for dear life that people tend to have. And point number 7, you're probably going to think, oh, he's going to say this as a PT and nutritionist. Have an open mind and do some research to work with someone to offer you accountability. Accountability goes a long way. When the cat's away, the mice can go out and play. But if you've got someone checking in with you, making sure you're doing the right things, navigating accordingly, and are doing it correctly, because don't be wrong, there's a lot of bad PTs and nutritionists out there. The industry is very confused in that, and that is unfortunate. Probably a big reason why people have to go down this road. But my point being is if you work with a personal trainer or a coach or a nutritionist who offers empathy, understanding, a slow and steady approach, the tortoise and the hare, the tortoise always wins. I promise you, not only will you lose weight, but you will build habits that last the rest of your life. Now, look, I understand there is an element of, if somebody is obese, just get the weight loss, because being obese can cause a lot of health problems. There's no doubt about that. But I just worry in this, it's a bit like cryptocurrency at the moment. It's very popular. You do it, you get your money, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work that way. Okay, it goes up, it goes down. You actually got to buy into crypto over the course of time, and that's where success lives. You might get the odd Trump coin that does well and it goes straight back down again, but there's a lot of losers in that. You only hear about the winners. And I do worry that social media, you only see the winners as part of this game. There was a stat I read recently which frightened the living daylights out of me, that 80% of people who start injections come off them before they hit their goal weight. And I worry where those people are, because those people won't be posting about it, they won't be showing off about it. Working in the bariatric industry, I know a lot of people, when that isn't going the right way, they tend to bury their head in the sand. And I understand that. But with these 7 points I've just made here, starting slow, building up over the course of time with them, I really do believe that whether you're taking injections or not, whether you're post-bariatric surgery or not, you will thrive. And that's all I care about. Yes, weight loss is important, but what is the end game? If there is a view to take these things and not build these in, I'm sorry to say, long-term, you're going to have a problem. It's a bit like the S&P 500 compared to crypto. You know, Warren Buffett, just do things consistently over time and the market will always do its bit. Crypto, not so much. You have to be a little bit more, it's a bit more volatile. You don't know where you're going to get. So my point is, please be safe, do your research. I would really encourage you to take these points on and start doing them now. Not next week, next month, or whenever you get time. There's never a good time to do a great thing. Start implementing these, and I assure you, whether you're taking injections or not, they will be the story. These will be the important part. Because the whole point of weight loss is that you get to a point where you don't think about weight anymore, you're too busy doing other things. And that does not live in constant restriction, it lives in constant progression. My name is Harry Hedges. I hope you got some value from that, and I'll look forward to speaking to you very, very soon.